let's talk about the. This is one of the grammar points that students ask me about all the time. There are so many rules. There's so many rules that students often become overwhelmed or stressed or think that it is impossible to learn. I agree, there are a lot of rules about the. I think an easy way to learn the rules for the is to break it down and focus on one rule at a time. So I'm going to make a series of videos of just one rule. You can learn that one rule and then come back and watch the next video. So today I want to start with when we use the with certain types of waters. I'm talking about things like oceans and rivers and lakes and seas, all of those big geographical bodies of water. Let's start with oceans. Let's talk about the three big oceans: the Atlantic, the Pacific, and the Indian Ocean. Oh, my mind went blank for a moment. So let's talk about these three. Did you notice that I used the Atlantic, the Indian, the Pacific? We use the with oceans. Let me give you some examples. I think the Titanic sank in the Atlantic. If you want to fly from Australia to South Africa, you will fly over the Indian Ocean. I would love to take a cruise through the Pacific Ocean. So let's talk now about seas. So we're talking about seas like, for example, the Black Sea, the Dead Sea, the Red Sea, the Mediterranean Sea. And some of the seas that are around my neighborhood, for example, the Coral Sea, the Tasman Sea. Again, notice that with seas, we also use the. Okay, so we've got oceans and we've got seas. They use the. Let's talk about water in lakes. So lakes are different to oceans and seas. We don't use the. So let's talk about some of the big lakes, the big famous lakes. Lake Titicaca in South America. Notice I didn't say the Lake Titicaca. No, Lake Titicaca. Lake Victoria is in Africa. Lake Tinaroo, Lake Eacham, Lake Barine. These are all some of my favorite lakes in Australia. Okay, let's move down a little bit smaller to rivers. So with rivers, we do use the. Let me give you some examples. The Amazon River flows through Brazil, Peru, Ecuador. Does it flow through Colombia? I really should study geography more. The Nile River's in Egypt. The Danube is in Europe. And if we talk about rivers in Australia, we've got the Brisbane River, the Yarra River. Notice with rivers, it is the. Okay, let's go a little bit smaller now to creeks. Creeks are small rivers. And unlike rivers, with creeks, we don't use the. So I can tell you about Freshwater Creek, Bahana Creek. Oh, and my favorite creek, Dawson's Creek. I loved that TV program. Let's summarize. Things with the, we have got ocean, seas, rivers. Things with no the, we've got creeks and lakes. That's the end of this lesson. If you thought that that was a valuable lesson to you and you learned something, then I think the next video on the is waiting for you. Have a great day.